Happy Sunday, everybody. It's hashtag Showcase Sunday. This is live from Alison McGee-Barker from AJ Lates Consultancy and Training, here to help and support the hospitality industry. And just in case, because I know you're all very, very busy at the moment, just in case you didn't get to watch all of the Showcase Sundays this last month, I'm sharing a little different Showcase Sunday this week in actually showcasing all of the summary top tips from the last 3 businesses that we interviewed to help and support you throughout this current time. And the first of our Showcase Sunday top tips and summary is Hannah Cleesby. And if you remember, if you did watch it, she is a mental health awareness and mental health trainer. And this is massive for our industry right now as the transition of going off furlough into a full busy operation, or it's also from being with nobody to suddenly being surrounded by lots of people and dealing with lots of high expectations from customers and guests throughout your organisation as well as your team. So let's take you over to Hannah Cleesby from HC Training.
My name's Hannah and I own HC Training, and through that I deliver mental health first aid and mental health awareness courses on behalf of Mental Health First Aid England. I also offer bespoke mental health training for any organisation. And at the moment, I'm delivering mental health training online, obviously due to the restrictions, and it's really, really worthwhile because mental health is such an important topic and everybody has it, and we need to get that message out there and educate people so that the stigma and discrimination that still is associated with mental health starts to be reduced. Do you want my 5 top tips?
I was just going to ask, have you got 5 top tips for me?
I've got 5. Okay.
To help and support anybody who's watching this now and can't obviously come straight to you, what are the 5 top tips that you can help and support them right now?
So number 1 would be get talking. Have those conversations and just talk. It is so important. Second tip would be to sort of be aware of what you might be looking for or any changes in behaviour in people or family, friends, anybody, so that awareness of what might be happening. Obviously, number 3, educate, get yourself booked on a course, get in touch with me, because it's so important. As looking at mental health as a whole and reducing that stigma and discrimination, education is the key for that. Number 4, make that difference. Okay, whether it's in terms of your own well-being and self-care and making that time for yourself, or whether it's making a difference for someone else, just do it. And obviously through that you potentially could save somebody's life as well, which is really, really key. And number 5, get out of that comfort zone. I know a lot of people are frightened to come on courses like mental health first aid because they think, I don't know anything about it, I might look like I don't know anything, and it's uncomfortable as well for a lot of people if they've had personal or professional experiences with mental health, and they think it might bring up uncomfortable feelings, which it can do. But get out of that comfort zone, because it's the only way that we can make a difference to mental health.
And the next one, if you remember, is Sarah Young from Graithwaite Adventure. Now, Sarah is an expert in bringing teams together and helping you to support your team, to bring team building, exciting times, fun and happiness, and creating long-lasting memories as and when you get time to do so, but also helping you to take your TFM, which I'm very passionate about, your time for me, because that is critical on helping you run and support your business. So let's take you over to Sarah Young from Graithwaite Adventure, sharing her top tips.
So I'm Sarah Young, as you know, and together with Tim we run Graithwaite Adventure, and Graithwaite Adventure offers award-winning outdoor adventure experiences on the Graithwaite Estate. And Graithwaite Estate is a 5,000 acre private estate on the shoreline of Windermere. with a range of offerings. There's holiday cottages, and obviously the outdoor adventure experiences that we provide. My background, I've worked in the conference and events industry for, well, since the 90s now. So I suppose this was sort of a natural progression for us, and we were very fortunate that the collaboration with Graithwaite Estate is 4 or 5 years old now, but we maximised on lockdown 1, and with all that, you know, gifted time that we would never have had otherwise, and the focus sort of taken off our national and international corporate events, then that allowed us the time to really refocus on what was on our doorstep, and that is Graithwaite Adventure. So we looked at a rebrand, we redid the website, and we really looked at how we were going to, you know, shift, reposition ourselves, and that was really our focus as we emerged out of lockdown 1. And last summer was just booming, it was flying, and we were really very lucky, and there was such a demand for outdoor experiences, obviously smaller groups, families, and this year's looking the same. So yeah, really looking forward to it. So Graithwaite Adventure, we offer a range of land-based and water-based activities for families, groups, stag do's, hen groups, and corporates.
And I think you know, you cover so much, and the benefits outweigh it. And I think, you know, when you look at your corporates coming back, a lot of them haven't been together for over a year now, and they've been on Zooms, and they've not had that connection. The thing I'm finding, especially in the hospitality industry, is, you know, people are coming back with different expectations, different you know, ideas, and they're coming back into, say, hospitality or your, you know, Graithwaite Adventure with something that they want more of, and it'd be interesting to know that, what, you know, especially with the mental health awareness, what highlights, because you were serving people throughout the whole of lockdown 1, well, when it was eased in last year, July last year, and you had experiences with people who hadn't been to the Lake District, that you then saw, you know, say a person coming in who was quite introvert maybe, and then suddenly, you know, the whole family had a light bulb moment, and they then had quality time. Have you got any highlights, you know, that you'd like to share?
I mean, there were lots. I mean, almost on a daily basis. You know, I don't think you can underestimate how beneficial and how important it is, even for local families. And coming out of lockdown 1 and into that sort of July and August period, you know, we'd been put in a situation that none of us have ever had any experience of before. So, and as we came out of that, it was just so important, and even more now, because obviously we're nearly 12 months down the line. Families that obviously we've been confined to our own homes and spending a lot of time together, but I think there's a real demand for us, you know, even as a small family unit, but now a wider family unit, now that we can, you know, this summer meet more people, is just to go out and do something that's fun. And there are many highlights from last summer, but one particularly was a family. Their grandparents had booked for the son and their children to come and join them up in the lakes. And their son was, he worked in an intensive care unit in central London. So he'd had, you know, the most horrific 3 months leading up to this week in the Lake District, with his wife and 2 children. And his parents had done all the planning, and I'd spent, you know, a while planning. We had 3 different days across the week with them. And we did a family bushcraft adventure day, and we did a water sports day, and then we did a target skills afternoon, which included clay pigeon shooting, archery, and axe throwing. The children were sort of 10, 11, 12, so they were able to join in with all the activities. And speaking to him at day one, it was still, you could tell that it'd sort of been planted from, obviously, he'd travelled up from London. Speaking to him on the end of the week was like having a completely different conversation with somebody different, and how beneficial it had been to him to just escape for a week and come and, enjoy the Lake District and the fresh air and the scenery and the outdoor space and activities and quality time with his family. And his parents that had obviously planned the week, she wrote me an email afterwards, and I've kept it. I've still got it now, and you just, that is the, she said that she saw, things in her son that she'd not seen for a long time. As a very hard-working professional, and she said that she'd seen things that she'd not seen for a long time, and that, and almost an inner child had come out, and what a huge transition it was. And I know, I mean, I've always loved and needed exercise, and some days when you can't be bothered physically, you think, I can't be bothered physically to run or bike, but that mentally it's going to be, so much better for you. You're going to go to bed at night thinking, I'm glad I did go and do that.
And then we have Matthew Lincoln from Northern Monkey Creative. Northern Monkey Creative is a digital marketing agency and web agency, and he gave us an abundance of top tips with easy to implement straight away within your website, and lots of digital ideas to help and support your customers and help and support your teams to get the best out of your digital marketing.
So Matthew Lincoln from Northern Monkey Creative Media. We're a web design and digital marketing agency based on the outskirts of Preston. We've been going for just under 16 years now. And personally, I've been doing it for just over 20 years. So I'm showing my age a little bit there as well. But it really is from the start of the digital era, really, in online and websites. So we've kind of seen everything several times over. So we have quite a diverse client base, ranging from small to medium-sized businesses. They span whole across the UK, mainly in the Northwest region where we're based. But we've got clients as far as the US, Hong Kong. We've got one in Singapore, and several in Europe as well. We do quite a lot of work with those. So it's nice, and we like the diversity of different sectors. And obviously, with working with different sectors, we do get a lot of industry knowledge from each one that we can then take to a different sector and pass on tips and tricks on that way. So it's enjoyable, and we like it.
Brilliant. And the reason I've asked you today, obviously, is because the hospitality app you created last year in lockdown 1, and when I was told about you, and then I went to have a look, you very kindly let me in the back office element of it, and I was blown away. It was GDPR compliant. It did what it said on the tin, and I am amazed that not more people are actually using that.
So when we developed the software for the hospitality tracker, the NHS app wasn't even available. The government guidelines were saying you need to keep a register of all the people that are coming into your establishment, a hotel or a bar or a restaurant. But they didn't have the app in place. And obviously it's well documented in the news that the first version of their app was a big flop, and it didn't do everything properly as well. So businesses were writing it down on pieces of paper. They were leaving it on reception. I went to a large hotel in the Lakes, and they had it there on reception with everybody. I could got my camera out, taking a picture of every single guest that came in there for the last 3 days. That's a massive GDPR breach, as you know. So the NHS track and trace, they brought one out eventually, but ours was going strong and building up momentum there. So not only are you ticking the boxes with the government and guidelines and keeping everyone safe and secured, you're keeping yourself GDPR compliant, but you're also building yourself up a big database, marketing database at the same time. So the price we kept it really, really low. It was $4.99 per month, and there was no tie-ins. There was an opt-out anytime. You even got a 14-day free trial before it started billing cycle. So that's kind of like who we are as a company anyway, that's how we work. So Yeah, so for £4.99 per month compared to a potential fine for being GDPR, breaching, it's a big difference.
I'm going to ask you the next thing, which is, what are your top tips?
These are ones that we get asked regular. These are ones that we see clients fall down on all the time. So if we can give these out and it helps anybody, that's fantastic, because it's now time for us all to get the hospitality sector kick-started, and make up for the last year. And I, for one, be out everywhere I can, drinking, eating. It's going to be fantastic, staying over places. So going back to the websites, my first tip is your website GDPR compliant? Now, we talked about the app and the software we did for the hospitality tracker, and that's keeping all of your clients' data safe. But websites have to be GDPR compliant as well. And lots of businesses aren't still. We do this all as default at Northern Monkey. Now, it's not hard to do as well. And also, if you're getting audited by the GDPR police, they're going to check your website out first. So if your website's GDPR compliant, they're probably not going to take it any further than that. And they're going to move on to the next business and check them out. And if they're not, well, then they're going to give a call, do an inspection, and that's not what you want. So to get a website GDPR compliant, really just have a little link in the bottom of your footer just saying marketing opt-out. And when somebody clicks on that, it comes up a form, you enter their contact details, submit, and then basically when you receive that, you take all of their details off your systems, and then you're GDPR compliant. The other thing as well is part of GDPR compliancy says that you have to make your digital aspects and your website as secure as possible. Now, secure as possible, if you're the FBI or NASA, there's a greater level of security, obviously. But for the general business, it just means simple things like having an SSL certificate in place, which is the little secure padlock on the browser. It's very easy to put one of those on the website. But again, that's what they're going to be looking for, because you might say, I'm not collecting any data on my website, but by anyone entering an inquiry field or using live chat, they are. So you ticking those boxes there. Shall I go on to number 2, Alison?
Yeah, and I think added to that as well, if they put the privacy policy on, for the data protection, because the ICO are looking out now, and you're right, if they see on the website straight off, they will pass you by, I think, like yourself, they'll pass you by and move on to somebody who's not got it right on the front page, really.
Yeah, absolutely. And to be honest, like say, I've certainly not heard of, it may well have been done, but I've not heard of any of our clients ever having that filled in, on their websites or regularly used, because they've got happy clients as well, and stuff like this. But just having it on there ticks the boxes, makes you sleep easy at night, and it's super easy to do. It's to add that extra form on, no more than half an hour, 3/4 of an hour to add it onto any website. It's nothing. So, and
it's the transparency, and that's what guests value you for. If you're very clear and transparent with what you do and why you use the data, then they're happy. It's when they don't know, that's when the problems start to begin, and that's where the ICO comes in and takes 4% of your global turnover.
Absolutely, yes. It's not good, is it?
Top tip number 2.
Okay, right, brilliant. So in the hospitality sector, a lot of the websites or even apps, they have booking systems. Now, booking systems are quite complex. They're all coded, and you have to link into an online calendar, and that's to be viewed at different locations, etc. So there's a good bit of software there. And you don't have to go bespoke. There's lots of third-party software you can integrate into most websites. That is a brilliant solution. But I would say to advise for tip number 2 is yours working? Is it easy to book or not? And you'd be super surprised that they might have said, oh yeah, we've always been using that one. And they've not updated that software in 4 years, 5 years, that company, because, well, they're making money from it. They're happy with it, but it can be clunky, it can be hard to use. It might not be mobile friendly anymore, so have a look on it. Go on, put your customer perspective hat on, go to your website and just try and make a booking or a table reservation through your system, and see if it's easier to use. Also, if you find it easy to use, and you've got an elderly relative or something that's a bit more, not as technical as yourself, ask them to go and do it. Simple as that. How do you find it? And if everyone's finding it clunky, well, there's lots and lots of providers out there as well. So that's the time to change. So I'd say just go and check your booking systems on there as well. And it sounds pretty simple, but the best little tips, the best little hacks often are.
And I think those people who have a high commission on third-party websites need to be definitely doing that, especially because the reason why people go to other websites and book is because 9 times out of 10 they can't do it on the website easy and quick.
Yeah, absolutely.
So you're right. Yeah, you're right. Brilliant.
You see, it wasn't for a hospitality, but I recently went on and booked 2 memberships for me and my daughter, and one went through fine, one didn't. You know what I mean? So I ended up then having to ring the venue up directly and saying I've had my payment taken out. However, I've not had confirmation back for the second booking, and it was a lot of hassle, a lot of faff for me. You know, as a customer point of view. So again, you know, luckily I was picking it all up and then proceeding with it, but often you will just get dropped checkouts, dropped baskets, you know, they'll just disappear and go somewhere else.
They do, but the other added element, because the industry is struggling with staffing at the moment and time, and that's just added probably about an hour and a half time on what they could have avoided if they'd have actually put your top tip number 2 in.
Or if I did it at 9 o'clock in the morning or 8:30 before work, and that hospitality venue doesn't open until 12 that afternoon, ready for dinner, and I can't ring them for 3 or 4 hours, then I might forget because I've got a busy day at work, and you've just lost it. You'll never know the ones that you've lost, you know what I mean? And unlike me the other day, very rarely will you get them phoning up and saying, do you know, you've got a problem, can I sort it out with you over the phone? You know, you just lose them.
And they might be busy at the moment because everybody's trying to get out and support the industry and obviously get out and experience overnight stays in the UK, etc. However, it's not long term and it's not future proofing, and it's when the quiet times come, it's too late then, because by then you're then firefighting and having to decrease costs and having to, you know, go into crisis mode.
Again, yeah, exactly. And it's relatively easy to put a new booking system, a new third-party booking system into an existing website. So you won't have to get your website rebuilt or anything like this. A couple of hours worth of development, you know, integrating the new third party, and then a little bit of a learning curve at your end, how to manage them bookings on your own computer. It could make the difference. And if you're losing 1 or 2 bookings a week, add them up over a month, add them up over a year, it's a substantial amount of money that you could be losing.
Yeah, plus the time and energy that your team are taking on top.
Absolutely.
Top tip number 3.
Okay, right. So payment methods. So if you are taking a payment, either linked into your booking system or indirectly, or it's a simple table reservation system, you're taking a deposit, like we mentioned some of our clients. What payment gateway are you using? You know, is it easy to use? Yes or no? The payment methods you take are specific to the sector that you're doing and the type of business. So for instance, like PayPal is dead popular, it's linked into eBay, but it's very hard because PayPal want you to sign in to PayPal to go and do it, but not everyone has a PayPal account. And under very small underneath, it says, or pay by debit card, you know what I mean? And you have to click a small link that then takes you through to it. So it's quite a hard system to use if you're not familiar with PayPal. If you offer the customer 2, you can offer them a separate one, a Stripe one, or a No Checks, or Sage. There's hundreds out there, as well as PayPal. You can say, you know, enter your PayPal details or enter your card details. Okay, card details, I'll go down that route. And it gives the customers options. And also recently, PayPal had a big dropout. It was only very recent. And the whole of the UK couldn't use PayPal for at least a day. So anyone with e-commerce websites or bookings or anything like this, they lost a day's trade. So if you've got 2 payment gateways, that's often a really good tip as well. Look at how they're doing it and how easy it is to put your card details in. For number 4, test your own website, or test your own website, test your own app, test your own systems. But yeah, you know, so we see a lot of this now. We've had clients that have come to us in the past. Yeah, I've come from my other agency over to you guys. Somebody phoned up and said where the inquiry back form weren't working on your website, you know, and I weren't getting an answer from you, you know. And then you've looked into it and it's been down for a week or 2 weeks, you know, from the inquiry page, you know. So as a business owner, you know, take the emphasis yourself, go and test your own website, test your own system.
I think it's taking the responsibility and put it in your diary like you would do anything else in your role system.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the other thing as well is a lot of those inquiry forms go through to an email, you know, but if your Outlook has got a problem or your IT or your laptop's broken, you're still missing live inquiries there. So it's not even around the website or the inquiry form. It could be you know, the other end of the spectrum that, you know, it's that's causing the issue. But, you know, you don't want to lose one client, you know, because they could then go on and leave you a bad review. No one ever got back to me. You know, it's like, well, yeah. You know, so test your own website, you know, test the inquiry forms, test that it works in all browsers, because everyone thinks, oh yeah, the website's working, it's working great in my Safari. But have you done it, tested yourself in Chrome? You know, have you tested it on a mobile device? It might look brilliant on your laptop, but it's so clunky and hard to use and super slow on your mobile phone. And 70% of traffic will be from a phone. So test your own website was tip number 4. So
top tip number 5.
So the last tip, the top 5 tips, is something that we have seen massive, especially over the last couple of years. Introducing live chat systems into websites. They're brilliant. I know you've got one on your website, Alison, as well. We've seen massive conversions hugely with that, you know, because customers, consumers, they might have silly questions, you know, if it's a restaurant, you know, or do you cater for nut allergies? It's a silly question, but to them, it's a massive deal, you know, and if they get a reply quickly there and then, it leads them to going to a booking page and secure the booking for that evening. So a lot of the live chats are little silly questions, and they might even be answered somewhere else on the website, but you can never presume it, and you've got to offer that there. So just by having a live chat system on your website and adding that little bit of interaction and extra communication, because everyone wants an answer now. They might not like picking the phone up or have the time to do it. They've definitely not got time to send you an email, and they're certainly not going to write you a letter to see if you cater for nut allergies or vegetarians. So live chat's brilliant for things like this, or room requirements if they need disabled access and things like that. Live chats as well, long gone of the day, and this is the big myth, this is the big barrier we see clients and businesses come up against. They think they have to be sat there in front of a computer waiting for that to pop up on their screen to answer it. It doesn't, does it, Alison? You know, it comes through as a message on an app, you know, and you just basically, it's like it coming through as a text message or a WhatsApp, and you answer it from your phone, and that's it. And it feeds into the website, and it's really easy to use. So all these little things I mentioned today, they're all quick, simple, easy little hacks, and not cost expensive at all.
And last but not least was Lisa Brady from Perfect Recruitment. She brought us information about staffing, about recruitment, about what is expected right now, what is going on in the industry as we speak, and how to overcome some obstacles that are currently hitting us.
I'm Lisa from Perfect Recruitment. We're a catering hospitality agency, and we've been running for 16 years now. We're all very, very passionate about the catering hospitality industry. We're all hospitality managers within the team, and you know, it's a great passion of ours, and we love working within this sector. We're based in Chorley, but we do cover the whole of the UK. And in fact, we've had lots of bookings this morning rang in for London. So we're even reaching the south these days, which is fantastic.
So if you were obviously, if you had an employer who was just desperate now, what would be your top tips anyway for working with you, but also right now, what would be your top 5 tips to help and support the hospitality industry to get back on the feet with recruitment?
I think you've got to look at what you've got to offer. That's got to be first. You know, what can you do more to highlight your specific hotel, bar, or restaurant, just to see what you can do differently and offer to the staff, but also be flexible with hours. And if you can get rid of the split shifts or shifts altogether, then try that and give it a go. I think you've got to look outside the box. speak to your milkman, speak to the veg man. They'll be aware of other people that aren't being treated correctly, because they all sit outside and have a chat, have a conversation. And, if you know of anybody that's looking, please pass us along. That's what we're doing. We're trying to work with a lot of suppliers out there, that they pass people over to us if they know that they're actually looking for work. Speak to your local agency. Unfortunately, people are going to have to pay agency fees now, because we are all fishing from the same pond, but some of us might get there quicker.
Brilliant. Yeah, and that is key, isn't it? It's the speed, but also somebody said to me the other day that we're interviewing the same people, and it's like they're going on a circular rota of which place they're going to next, and they are being picky, because you can be right now.
Yeah, definitely.
And I think as well, getting recommendations, getting your team to recommend to their friends and family of who should work with you.
There's an absolutely great scheme in the Lancashire area, and I'm an enterprise advisor for Parklands High School. So I work very, very closely with the department that finds people jobs, apprenticeships, or going on to college, and any sort of advice and helping out, or they do mock interviews. We will go down and work with them, so they get a feel of, I've been in catering hospitality. That's where I started. I'm now running my own business in recruitment, and have been for 15 years. So, that's another door. It's, catering and hospitality recruitment. It's not just a one shop. But work with your local schools and try and get in touch with the enterprise advisors, because they're always looking for people to support the schools in the Northwest area.
And thank you very much for joining us on this week's Showcase Sunday. The weather is stunning today, and we are having a great weekend, and I hope you are too. And I am so pleased that you were able to listen and watch the Showcase Sunday with the summaries of amazing businesses who are there to help and support the hospitality and tourism industry, and also to help and support you as a business owner. And looking forward to next week's Showcase Sunday, when there'll be another interview coming from an amazing business. So watch out for next week's Showcase Sunday coming next week. Take care. Have a great weekend. Bye.